Hello everybody, my name is Noah Teff, and welcome to my review of Survivor Series 2018. Obviously the show wasn't as good as NXT TakeOver War Games. Nobody expected it to be. I mean, if you were expecting that, then you've probably never seen a TakeOver before. TakeOvers are always better. That's just how it is, you know? I mean, but usually WWE pulls out the stops for Big Four pay-per-views. I mean, SummerSlam was good this year, the Rumble was good this year, and this show was weird. It was weird in terms of, it was just a weird show. Like, there was a lot of good wrestling. I don't know if there was a bad match tonight. There was a lot of good wrestling, but a lot of weird booking. And we're going to get into it right now. So to start tonight on a pre-show, we had the 10 tag team versus 10 tag team match. I don't remember, let's see. There were so many tag teams in this. Let me look at the card on my phone real quick to see what teams. Okay, so Team Raw was Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, The Revival, the B-Team, Lucha House Party, the Ascension. Team SmackDown was the Usos, the New Day, Sanity, Gallows and Anderson, and the Colognes. This match, the best way I can describe it, was a beautiful clusterfuck. It was at times sloppy and all over the place, but it was awesome. They made it work. And because it was a 2-hour pre-show, that's right, this pre-show was as long as an episode of SmackDown, they got a lot of time. Like, everyone got their individual entrances, and that in itself took almost 10 minutes, and the match itself was like 22 minutes. When they ended, there was still like 20 minutes to the pay-per-view had to start. They got a lot of time, and that was the benefit of being on the pre-show. The elimination rules were basically when one member of a team got pinned, all team members were out. Everybody, for the most part, I'd say, got their shit in. Again, it was a pretty epic clusterfuck, but it was an epic clusterfuck. Better have an epic clusterfuck than a terrible clusterfuck. I should mention, by the way, that during this match, Kalisto seemingly got hurt and was replaced mid-match by Gran Metalik. Like, he was just sitting on the floor, but it didn't seem like anyone was checking on him. And I don't remember if he wrestled on Raw tonight. Did he wrestle? He was there. I don't remember if he wrestled, though, so I'm not sure what the extent of the injury is, but I think he's okay. I don't know if it was a work or not, especially when they didn't really create much storyline out of it. I don't see why it would be a work. That just sounds weird. But for the most part, everybody got their shit in. There was the best spot of the match, which was one of the best spots of the night, was everyone had fought to the outside, and Gable had one of the Usos on the top rope and suplexed him off the top rope to the outside on top of all the teams. And the final two teams actually ended up being the Usos and the Revival. I thought it was going to be Usos maybe, and then Gable and Roode, because I'm pretty sure those two teams are the teams in line for the next tag team opportunities. Although, it appears I was right on that, because tonight on Raw, even though the Revival were the final two, Gable and Roode actually beat AOP clean. It was via roll-up, but they beat them clean. While on the flip side, the Revival lost to Lucha House Party due to interference. That's right, the Revival have been buried to the point that even though they're the heels, they're losing due to interference by babyfaces. That's where the Revival are. But at least they got the final two, and we got a preview of what could be an incredible match between the Usos and the Revival if they hopefully choose to remove the Revival to SmackDown next year. I hope they do that, because my god, those two could just have all-out classics. Like, we got a pretty good preview of that. Unsurprisingly, the Usos ended up getting the pin in the end. Again, I'm decently sure the Usos are next up versus Sheamus and Cesaro, because ever since they got put back on TV, they've had the hell pushed out of them. Like, they pinned Daniel Bryan, they pinned AJ Styles, now they got the final pin in this. And yeah, I'm pretty sure they're next up. But it was a great match. SmackDown got the win here, but wait! This, all of a sudden, even though I'm pretty sure on the pre-show they had a counter which set it as 1-0 SmackDown, all of a sudden they decided when the main show started, this match didn't count.
A 1-0 lead for SmackDown against Raw.
Anyway, to start the main show, and by the way, I mentioned how that pre-show match got time. I should mention that, I'm looking at the card here, pretty much all matches got time. Actually, only one match was under 10 minutes the whole night, so most matches got pretty good amount of time. To start the main show, it was Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, the women's match. Team Raw was Mickie James, Nia Jax, Tamina, Bayley, and Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss managing, versus Team SmackDown, Naomi, Carmella, Sonya Deville, Asuka, and Mandy Rose. Should mention, by the way, on the pre-show, first off, Naomi, who had taken the team captain role, revealed that Mandy was the 5th woman. I thought it was going to be Nikki Cross, but Mandy was the obvious replacement if it wasn't her. I should also mention that during the pre-show, in a backstage segment, Ruby Riott and Natalya got into a fight. They were then both unceremoniously kicked off the team by Alexa Bliss and replaced with Bayley and Sasha. So that's how we got here. This match, again, got a good amount of time, about 19 minutes, and it was okay, I guess. You know, it was okay. Nia got a lot of heat. You should have seen her entrance. She got a lot of freaking boos. I don't know if there's really anything that stands out about this match. Oh, on the SmackDown side, Naomi got eliminated first, even though she was the captain. It ended up being a 2-on-1 Jax and Banks versus Asuka. And Asuka and Sasha went at it a little bit. They have incredible chemistry, so it was great. Nia ended up knocking Sasha off the top rope, and I think Asuka either tapped her out or got the pin. And then Nia went into the ring and hit Asuka with 3 leg drops and then a Samoan drop and pinned Asuka. So my get Asuka unburied to make her the sole survivor plan didn't work. Nia, despite breaking the most popular wrestler in the company's face 6 days previous, gets pushed for it because she still won the Battle Royal and she's still going to face Ronda next. So, oh, by the way, they're calling Nia the Face Breaker now. Yeah, everybody will love that. The Face Breaker. And she puts her fish up and she polishes it and goes like this. Ooh, I'm the Face Breaker. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yes, I'm an unsafe worker and we're making a gimmick out of it. I'm Eva Marie. Is that what you want to put off? That she's Eva Marie? And Eva Marie wasn't even unsafe. She just sucked. Eva Marie was just shit, but I don't know if Eva Marie ever hurt anybody. Eva Marie just bought shit. Pretty much everything. And Eva Marie also didn't care about wrestling, but you know, well, it's not about her. But Asuka got pinned in, Nia gets pushed. To all this, really. I mean, this is probably the worst match of the night. Just. Up next, Seth Rollins, the Intercontinental Champion, versus Shinsuke Nakamura, the United States Champion. We continue with the weird booking here. Liked this match, didn't like the finish. At all. This match was everything everyone expected it to be ever since 4 months ago. Everybody realized, hey, Nakamura and Rollins may be facing off in Survivor Series. They hold the belts, and they held the belts, and now they're facing off. And it was incredible. It was Nakamura's best match in a long, long time. Probably his best match since the last Styles match. The one they had at Money in the Bank, the Last Man Standing match. Probably Nakamura's best match since then. Again, Rollins is... You could make the argument that Seth Rollins is the best wrestler in the world. Like, not just WWE, but the world. I think he's in that conversation. In my personal opinion, if you were to rank the top 4 wrestlers in the world, in no particular order, just say the top 4 wrestlers in the world, I'd say it'd be Rollins, AJ Styles, Okada, and Omega. That might just be me, but that's what I think. And it was incredible. I didn't like the finish because Rollins beat him clean. Like, they both got their shit in, but Rollins didn't need this win. Nakamura did. Nakamura's been booked like shit, even though he's had the longest United States title reign since Cena's reign way back in 2015. He's been booked like shit. And he needed a big win over a legitimate person. It didn't even have to be clean. You could have had Ambrose fucking run in and do some jank shit, and Nakamura hits Kinshasa while Rollins is distracted and wins. But it didn't happen. So, just again, more weird booking. Incredible match. Loved the match, didn't like the finish. Oh, and by the way, this makes it 2-0 Raw. Are you keeping score? You should be, because the score is going to matter a little bit later on. And it'll be some more weird booking. We'll get to that. Up next, it is the Raw Tag Team Champions AOP, Ikemen and Cesaro versus SmackDown Tag Team Champions Sheamus and Cesaro. This again was the shortest match tonight, only match not to go over 10 minutes. They got, I believe, 9 minutes right on the dot. I don't really remember a lot about this match, because much like everyone else, I was distracted by Enzo Amore. What? Enzo Amore? Yep, Enzo Amore. So during the Rollins Nakamura match, a photo leaked online of a man who looked a lot like Amore in the second row, appearing to wear a hoodie and a wig. And then, as the match was starting, he stood up in his seat and took his crap off, and turns out it actually was Enzo Amore, and he started cutting his "My name is Enzo Amore" promo in the front row until he was tackled by a security guard and escorted out of the building. And all that, the shock of that kind of distracted me from the rest of this kind of short match. Maybe this was the worst match of the night. I don't know. But, and then of course, nothing really notable happened during the match. And then of course, oh god, at the end of the match, Maverick was up on the apron, or whatever, distracting the ref, and then Big Show came around and started choking him. And I figured he was just going to choke Maverick out, because Maverick was making a face looking like he was fading. And instead of that happening, which would have been cooler, he pissed himself. That's literally what happened. He pissed himself. And Sheamus and Cesaro were distracted by the fact that he pissed himself. And AOP hit their finish on, I think, Sheamus and won. AOP wins. Cool. Biggest win in their career. And then the next night on Raw, they make big jokes out of Maverick pissing himself. The crowd chants AOPP, and AOP loses clean. Yeah, this was the worst match tonight. I take it back from earlier. This was the worst match tonight. Up next, in the only non-brand warfare match of the night, the Cruiserweight title match, Buddy Murphy defending against Cedric Alexander. Mustafa Ali. Not Cedric Alexander. I was thinking the Australia match. This match got about, I think, 2 minutes more than their Australia match. It was another match where it was only 12 minutes, but they got so much shit in, it didn't feel like 12 minutes. To perfectly summarize this match for you, for most of the match, and for the beginning of the match, the crowd was dead. By the end of the match, the crowd was chanting 205, and this is awesome. That's how great this was. I mean, they got so much shit in, so many brutal spots. They did that spot again where Ali, Spanish fly them off the announce table. And I know it's technically a reused spot, but not everyone watches 205 Live, especially not the mainstream pay-per-view audience watching a Big Four pay-per-view, so I have no problem with the spot reuse, because a lot of them probably hadn't seen it. To my surprise, Murphy ended up winning clean. I think Ali went for the 045 or the 054, and Murphy ended up cutting him off and then hitting Murphy's Law, which is an incredible name for a finish, by the way. Literally, it's so easy that they had to use it. I was surprised Murphy won clean. I still think Ali is getting this belt at some point, but I expected Murphy to win, but I expected him to maybe win dirty. I don't necessarily have a problem with him winning clean, just because of how incredible he is and how incredible his match was. And I don't think Ali looked weak, because it's kind of hard to come out of a match like that looking weak. I definitely think this feud isn't over, and they're going to go on for a little bit. And it's actually made to, I think, turn into a triple threat involving Cedric Alexander next up, which could lead to Cedric's heel turn, possibly at the Rumble. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to go storyline-wise, but I'm excited for it. This match was incredible, and it's a perfect showcase of, if you're not watching 205 Live, you should be. These are the two perfect representatives? These are the two people most perfect to represent the Cruiserweight division. There you go. Up next, the longest match of the night, clocking in at 24 minutes. It was the men's 5-on-5 for Survivor Series tag match. For the first time since the brand split, this did not go on last, right? Yeah, the men's match did not go on last. The teams were Team Raw, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, and Bobby Lashley, accompanied by Baron Corbin, who's the team captain, also Leo Rush, versus Team SmackDown, The Miz, Shane McMahon, Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, and Jeff Hardy. Again, weirdly absent from this match was Randy Orton, who is the king of Survivor Series. Why he wasn't picked for this, I have no clue. I also should make the note that this is the second Big Four pay-per-view in a row where neither Randy Orton or John Cena has been booked. Orton showed up at SummerSlam, but he wasn't in a match. So the fact that Orton and Cena have both not wrestled on 2 consecutive Big Four pay-per-views is a weird stat. That's a real change in the guard stat. This match as a whole was alright. I mean, it was going to take a lot to top that 42-minute epic they did in 2016, especially when they didn't get nearly as much time. And this wasn't in the main event spot, so obviously they weren't going to do that. I think this was better than last year's, but again, just more weird booking. Like, if you aren't keeping score, again, they didn't count the pre-show, so Raw hadn't lost a match at this point. And Raw basically just kind of kicked their ass. Like, Joe got eliminated by McIntyre like 2 minutes into the match. Joe was the first one eliminated, which is, I feel bad for Joe, but obviously they're sending Drew to the moon. They're pushing Drew to the moon. But it was a shock moment, but I feel bad for Joe because he goes from 4 consecutive WWE title matches to that crap. And they ended up, the SmackDown people guys were in control for a bit. They ended up taking Strowman out after Shane elbowed him for the table. There was also a running feud in the match where the Miz was trying to get Shane to kill himself by keep hitting coast to coast, and then Miz ended up seemingly blaming Shane after it started not work. It started not work when he was going to hit one, I think, on McIntyre, and Strowman got up and literally swatted him out of midair. Strowman tied the record with Roman Reigns for 4 eliminations. He eliminated, I think, everybody but... Who did he not eliminate? He eliminated Miz. He eliminated Shane. He eliminated Joe. Oh, Joe. I said it earlier because McIntyre eliminated Joe. So he eliminated everybody else. It ended up being a 3-on-1 at the end with Lashley, McIntyre, and Strowman versus Shane. And Shane just told him to bring it and basically ran to a running power slam, and that was it. So, Raw wins dominantly. 3 of their 5 members survive. And then after the match, Strowman just kind of booted Strowman in the back of the head, or Corbin kind of booted Strowman in the back of the head just for lulz, and then ran out of the ring, and Strowman was like, "Oh, you're gonna get these hands," and that was it. So, I don't know. It's an alright match. Booking was weird. Booking's just been really weird. However, I do want to make the note that I loved the booking in these last 2 matches, especially this one. Ronda Rousey, the Raw Women's Champion, versus Charlotte Flair, who is not the SmackDown Women's Champion, though of course Nikki James? What? Of course Becky Lynch. I didn't even say Mickey James, I said Nikki James, but Becky Lynch, well, I don't know why I said Mickey James. Becky Lynch was hurt on Raw after Nia Jax broke her face with a unworked punch, because Nia doesn't know how to throw an unworked punch apparently. This was incredible. This was probably, storyline wise, definitely the best match of the night. This was Ronda Rousey's best match in WWE, in my opinion, without a doubt. I'd always said, I think I'd said this before, that if you put her in a ring with someone better than her, like Charlotte or Sasha or Asuka or Ember, Becky, that she could have an incredible match. And she did. It was an incredible back and forth match. It really looked like each woman could win at some point. There was Ronda was trying to lock in the armbar for the entire match. She couldn't get it. She kicked out of natural selection. She kicked out of an incredible spear, which she sold beautifully. I think after escaping the armbar for a while, Charlotte ended up rolling out of the ring and Ronda chased her, and Charlotte surprisingly kendo sticks her in the freaking chest and then proceeds to beat the ever-living fuck out of her. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is she beat her with the kendo stick on the outside until the kendo stick broke. Charlotte, for all this, by the way, looked fucking psychotic. Like, she didn't just look like old heel Charlotte, who needed her daddy's help to win. She looked fucking psychotic, and it was awesome. She threw Ronda back in the ring, got a chair, fucking wailed on her with the chair. Actually, no, she was about to wail on her with the chair, but the ref stopped her, and Ronda was trying to get up, and Charlotte goes back in the ring and natural selections her on the chair. Then she wails on her with the chair. Then she puts the chair around Ronda's neck and stomps on it, which I don't know if I've seen that spot since the company went PG. And my God, obviously since Ronda's babyface, this was, I guess, a heel turn for Charlotte, and this heel turn was so effective, the crowd was booing Rousey. The crowd was booing Rousey from the beginning anyway because they were Becky marks. And by the end of it, they were chanting, "Thank you, Charlotte." Just like that, they got Charlotte back over. How did they get Charlotte's babyface momentum back? By turning her heel. That's how they got Charlotte's babyface momentum back. By turning her heel. That sounds about right. Oh my God. So, I'm pretty sure the plan here was basically to elevate Charlotte to Ronda and Becky's level, which I believe they did beautifully. What's the plan here, then? Did Charlotte just take Becky's spot? Is it now going to be Charlotte and Ronda at Mania? Um, is it going to be a triple threat? Maybe. Or are they just going to do the Horsewomen versus the Horsewoman match? I don't know, man, but this was incredible for Charlotte. I'm more than happy with the turn. She's been babyface for around 2 years, I think. Ever since she moved to SmackDown, she's been babyface. So, probably closing on 3 years, to be honest, because I think she got moved in April of 2016. So, yeah, probably closing on 3 years she's been babyface. So I think it's about good time for a heel. Again, she looked like a different kind of heel. I don't know where they're going to go with this, but I'm excited. I'm more than excited. And yeah, this should be incredible going forward. And finally, the main event, Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion, versus the new WWE Champion and the newly heel Daniel Bryan. Bryan, of course, turned heel and beat AJ on SmackDown for the belt. This is also the first Big Four pay-per-view since he's debuted in the WWE that AJ Styles has not been booked for. A little bit weird seeing a Big Four pay-per-view without AJ Styles, but here we are. Of course, Bryan had won this match more than anything. He had stated before this is his dream match, and my god, he delivered on it. Bryan was on his heel shit. He's obviously making it very clear that he is a super baddie bad guy now. And the first portion of the match was basically him just mocking Lesnar, just making Lesnar chase him, doing Lesnar's pose in the ring, just being a little troll, until Lesnar caught him with the suplex and dropped him on his head immediately. To Brock's credit, that is the only time he dropped him on his head the whole night, was that first suplex. Brock was careful with him after that. I will give Brock credit there. That first suplex was the only one. And Brock then proceeds to beat the fuck out of Bryan for a good 8 or so minutes. Brock actually hit the F5, went for the pin, and instead pulled Bryan's shoulder up because he wasn't done. And then as he's going to pick Bryan up, Bryan kicks him in the head, which pisses Brock off. Bryan kicks him in the head again. I think sends Brock tumbling back into the ref, and then Bryan hits him in the dick. Bryan hits the running knee out of nowhere, and what fooled me enough that I legitimately thought it was going to be the finish, but Brock kicked out. Then the rest of the match, the remaining 8 minutes, Bryan dominated the entire match. Brock got some stuff in here or there, but Bryan just kicked his ass, hitting multiple running knees, a lot of them to the outside. Eventually fighting him into the ring, Bryan got him in the yes lock, and looked like Brock was really close to tapping. Brock was selling the shit for Bryan. He really was. You can really tell Brock respects him, just for how good of a match and how much selling he gave him. And like Brock got out of the yes lock, like pulled it off, but then Bryan just like stiff forearms him in the face with the yes lock and then pulls it back on. But then Brock is able to roll out of it and actually gets him in up for the F5 and hits a second F5, and Bryan does not kick out of that, and that's it. Brock Lesnar wins to the little surprise of everyone, and Brock was still, once again, much like the AJ match last year, was selling the crap out of the knee. Some people have made the suggestion or the comment that it was kind of the same as the AJ match last year, and parts of it was, yeah, but that it wasn't the same. It was a way different dynamic. It was a way different dynamic. This wasn't Brock Lesnar versus an underdog babyface. This is Brock Lesnar versus a legitimate crazy person. In the final shot, as Brock was limping up the entranceway, it cuts to Daniel Bryan, who is laying in the ring, smiling and laughing, looking at Lesnar. Like, Bryan is insane. He looked like Mick Foley also with that laugh, and I am incredibly excited to see what heel Bryan has coming up, because my god, if this is a preview, it looks great. This match I thought was better than the Brock AJ match. I really did. I thought it was a better match than Brock AJ. Again, I think I got maybe a little bit more time. I'm not sure, but it was a bit different. It was the same in some points, but at the same time it was kind of the same, but at the same time completely different. That's basically the best way I can describe it. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure Bryan got more offense in and looked a little bit stronger than AJ did, even though Bryan got his ass kicked for the first whatever part of the match. And Brock just sold that shit for Bryan, man. Maybe they should start letting Brock pick his opponents. Like, there's an idea. If you want Brock to put on good quality matches, maybe let him pick his opponents, because he's still shown that even nowadays, when he's wrestling someone that he likes and someone he wants to work with and someone he respects, like AJ Styles or Daniel Bryan, he will put on a damn good match. And he did it with both of them. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe ask Brock who he wants to work with. That'd be interesting to see. But all in all, this was again just a weird pay-per-view booking wise. I should note, by the way, that Raw swept SmackDown with that Lesnar win. Raw swept them, even though they didn't because the Usos won on the pre-show. But that's how they're booking it, as Raw swept them. Which is a weird decision, especially since everyone knows SmackDown's a better show anyway. But maybe that's why. I don't know. Aren't you supposed to be booking SmackDown as the big show since they're getting that $1 billion deal from Fox next year? I don't know. Speaking of which, it's rumored that this could be the last time we have a SmackDown versus Raw Survivor Series, because it's rumored the brand split might end next year, because apparently Fox doesn't like it, because they want all the talent they can possible on the show, since they're paying so much money to have it, which I guess makes sense, but I don't really... I like the brand split, man. I've always liked the brand split. I know some people don't or kind of here or there about it, but like I like it. I don't want the brand split to end. That might just be me, but I like it. I like it how it is. But I understand it from their standpoint. But yeah, all in all, I don't think it was a bad show. It was a weird show. But I'd say it was maybe, if I were to put it as stars out of 10, maybe 6.5, 7-star show. It was an alright show. It wasn't quite, it was the worst Big Four pay-per-view of the year, but that's because the Rumble was great and so was SummerSlam. Those were both at least 8-star shows. Well, this wasn't. But yeah, weird show, but that main event was great. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to do it for my review of Survivor Series 2018. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There's actually an event this Sunday. They're broadcasting Starrcade. I might do a review of that. We'll see. They're broadcasting a bit on the network. I think it's only going to be like an hour long, so it might be a short review, but I might do a review of that. We'll see. But that is going to do it for my review of Survivor Series 2018. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to check out any of my social media links to my Twitter, my main channel, Taff316, my Twitch, and my Patreon are all in the description. My name is Noah Taff. I hope you guys enjoyed my review, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.